Did you know the National Safety Council claims that cell phone use while driving leads to 1.6 million crashes annually? My purpose today is to try to persuade you to join me in persuading lawmakers to create a handheld device ban while driving. As an EMT, I've seen countless accidents and fatalities caused by distracted driving, and because of that, I've done countless amounts of research on it and have educated myself on this issue. Each of us use our roadways on a daily basis, and distracted driving causes an innumerable amount of problems. We are all affected by this issue, and we can have a hand in changing perspective amongst lawmakers. With that in mind, I will go over our problem, examine the cause of it, and conclude with the solution to it. With our roadmap in place, let's begin with the problem. The problem is that federal lawmakers have allowed state governments to exclusively determine their own texting while driving laws. For example, 47 states have already enacted full bans of texting while driving, while there are 0 states that ban all cell phone use. According to the National Conference of State Legislators in 2017, 47 states had already made it a traffic infraction to text and drive, but there were 0 who made all cell phone use a violation. Even with this texting ban, only a few states have determined that handheld device use while driving is the actual problem. The Insurance Institute for Highway Safety Highway Loss Data Institute states that only 16 states have banned handheld device use in driving. With our problem presented, let's go over the cause of it. There are 2 reasons why federal lawmakers have allowed states to determine their own laws when it comes to texting while driving. The first reason is that most traffic laws are handled by state government. Using my computer because of the little technical difficulties, you can see here that the state bans on handheld device use while driving. The green states represent all drivers, the blue states represent partial, and then all of these gray states have no ban at all to texting while driving. The first traffic laws came into existence in Connecticut in 1901, and the first federal regulation on vehicle and highway safety came in 1966. According to the National Museum of American History, it was widely assumed that until 1966 that the majority of traffic laws were to be handled state by state by what they needed and what applied to them, and even after that, the same laws and practices continued. However, there are a few federal laws that have to deal with both federal roads, national parks and stuff, and state roads. One law that can be compared to distracted driving is drunk driving. According to the DMV, those with commercial driver's licenses are prohibited from driving with a blood alcohol content of 0.04 or greater. Also, the DMV incentivizes states to giving harsher drinking while driving laws by giving funds for states to use on statewide programs. The second reason is the belief that creating a nationwide ban to texting while driving will create further problems adopting laws to changing technology. According to an article by Mark Scribner in the Foundation of Economic Education, he claims that creating nationwide bans of texting while driving would be an overreach by the federal government and lead to a slippery slope of then combating growing technology bans and driving. However, according to legislators, they've shown the ability to adapt to technology when it comes to other similar bans. According to a 2014 article by an MIT economic professor, he states that our laws and ethical practices have evolved over centuries. Today, technology is on an exponential curve and is touching practically everyone, everywhere. Changes of a magnitude that once took centuries now happen in decades, sometimes in years. Now that we've seen our problem and the cause of it, let's look at the solution to this. The solution, which is for the federal government to enact a full handheld device ban while driving on national roads and incentivizing states to enact similar laws, offers 2 distinct advantages. The first benefit is that it still allows for states to manage and govern the rules and regulations of their roads while also providing a blueprint similar to drinking and driving. According to the DMV, since 1901, states have been able to determine their own laws when it comes to traffic laws. This solution not only maintains the status quo, but it also incentivizes states to crack down harder on handheld device use and driving by giving more funds to those who give out stricter penalties to violators. The second benefit is clarity for cell phone use and driving state to state. As you can see by this map, according to the Insurance Institute for Highway Safety, cell phone use and handheld device laws differ dramatically state by state. My solution not only clarifies, but also unifies this divisive issue and clears up the use of cell phones and handheld devices in driving. In conclusion, the current cell phone use laws while driving are both confusing and do not do enough to incentivize to not use the device. First, we learned the problem is that federal legislators have allowed states to determine their own texting while driving laws, and also handheld device use and driving as evidenced by 47 states have texting while driving laws, but only 16 have handheld device bans while driving. There are two reasons why federal lawmakers have allowed states to determine their own laws when it comes to texting and driving, which included that history has shown that most traffic laws stem from state legislation, but drunk driving laws have grown because the federal government incentivized the states to crack down on it. The solution to all this is to enact a nationwide ban to handheld device use while driving, and also incentivizing states to giving harsher penalties for handheld device use while driving by giving funding to the states. This allows states to still govern the laws pertaining to their own roads, which allows the federal government to also have a hand in an issue that affects all of our roads. Cell phone use in driving can be compared to drinking and driving. That quick look down toward your cellular device can be the difference of life and death. Each and every one of us is affected by the use of phones while driving. I believe that with this attention to a ban on national roads and the federal government pushing state legislators to ban handheld devices while driving, with our signatures, we can move forward with this deadly issue and hopefully grow towards a brighter future. I have to show. This is my audience.